Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're plunging into a world that's fascinated people for, well, forever. Natural silver and natural gemstones.
hmm
Whether you're already a collector thinking about investing, or maybe you're an entrepreneur looking for something new, understanding this market is really key.
It really is.
These aren't just, pretty things. They have enduring value, real beauty, and they can be incredibly rare. We're aiming to give you a shortcut to getting properly informed.
That's a great way to put it, because for anyone thinking of jumping in, that knowledge isn't just useful. It's your protection, really.
Right.
Understanding the materials, where they come from, how they get their value, that's fundamental. It's about integrity, too, not just making money. And that starts with good info.
Okay, let's get into it.
hmm
Natural silver, and that sounds interesting because, most silver we see day to day is refined.
Yeah.
So for listeners, what exactly is natural silver? How's it different from the usual stuff?
Good question. So natural silver, we're really talking about native silver. That means metallic silver found pretty much in its pure form in geological deposits.
Like straight out of the ground.
Pretty much. You find it as nuggets, sometimes these amazing wire-like shapes, or raw crystal clusters. It's actually quite rare,
Uh-huh.
which makes it a very niche market, totally different from the refined silver, often alloyed silver, you find in, say, jewelry or coins.
So it's that high purity that really sets it apart. Does that mean its value is mostly about weight and the spot price on the market? Or is there more to it?
Well, it's often incredibly pure, yeah, like 99.9%. And weight is definitely a big factor. But what's really fascinating is how its origin can add significant value.
Oh, interesting. How so?
Think about places like Bolivia or Peru or Mexico. Silver from these specific spots can fetch a premium just because of where it came from. It's tied to the history, the geology of that place.
It's got a story.
Exactly. It's more than just metal. It's like a little piece of the Earth's history right there.
And then the other side, natural gemstones. I think lots of people might just assume any nice-looking stone is natural, but there's a strict definition, isn't there?
Absolutely, a crucial one. Natural gemstones are specifically those formed organically, inside the Earth with zero human interference in their creation.
Okay, so nothing lab-grown or heavily treated counts here.
Right, that's the key difference. We're talking about stones made by the Earth itself, the classics. Sapphire's blue, but also yellow, pink, rubies, emeralds.
Quartz, too, right, like amethyst?
Definitely. Quartz varieties like amethyst, citrine, rose quartz are very popular. And don't forget others like Moonstone, Topaz, Spinel, Tourmaline. They're all highly sought after natural gems.
Okay, so you get the basics. Now comes the tricky part, maybe, the actual buying. Where do you even start looking for these treasures, and how do you avoid getting ripped off? It's not like buying milk.
Definitely not. When you're ready to buy, the number one rule is reputable sources. Always. Meaning established dealers, well-known auction houses. Licensed gem and mineral fairs are fantastic too, because you can see things up close, talk to sellers.
What about online?
Online can work, but you absolutely must stick to certified sellers, people with a proven track record. And look, if you happen to live near a mining area, buying direct from miners is a rare but sometimes possible and very rewarding way to do it.
So finding the source is one thing, but it sounds like doing your homework is critical. What are the main things listeners should be looking for before they, part with their cash?
Okay, key things. First, certification. Always ask for a gemological certificate from a recognized lab. Think GIA, IGI, EGL, those are the big names.
Non-negotiable.
Pretty much, especially for valuable stones. Second, transparency. Demand full disclosure about any treatments or enhancements. Has it been heated? Filled? You need to know. Third, compare prices. Look around. See what similar items are going for. It helps avoid overpaying. And fourth, documentation of origin. A stone certified as, say, a Sri Lankan sapphire often has higher value because that provenance is confirmed, adds confidence.
Okay, but how hard is it to get that info? Are sellers usually upfront, or do you sometimes have to really, dig for it?
Transparency should be key, but yeah, it's not always just handed over. Some sellers might be a bit vague about treatments, kind of hoping you won't push it.
Ah,
That's why you need to be proactive. Ask specific questions, show you know what you're talking about. If a seller seems hesitant about certificates or treatments, that's a huge red flag. A good seller wants you to have all the info.
that's really good advice. And speaking of red flags, what about scams? What are the common ones people really need to watch out for? I bet there are some tricky ones.
Oh, unfortunately, yes. Be super wary of synthetic stones lab-grown stuff being sold as natural. That's a big one. Also, stones that are dyed to look better or filled with glass to hide inclusions.
And silver.
With silver, the main thing is silver-plated metal being passed off as pure, solid silver. And sadly, fake certificates are out there too. Always verify them if you can.
So, okay, picture this. I'm at a gem fair. Someone offers me this amazing-looking natural sapphire. The price seems way too low, and there's no certificate. What's the immediate thought? Too good to be true.
Almost always, yes. That missing certificate, especially for a potentially valuable stone like sapphire, is the first major warning sign. Combine that with a price that feels way off, just walk away. Seriously. It's much better to miss out on a potential bargain than get stuck with something fake or misrepresented.
Right. Better safe than sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say you've successfully bought some beautiful pieces. Now, maybe you want to sell them. How do you prep them to get the best possible price?
Good prep makes a huge difference. For gemstones, getting them appraised and certified before you try to sell is vital. It adds so much credibility.
Makes sense.
Cleaning. Keep it simple. Gentle soap and water. Avoid harsh chemicals that can seriously damage some stones. Photos are crucial too. High-resolution pictures, good natural lighting if possible, really show off the features.
What about the description?
Be meticulous. Include the weight parits for gems, grams or ounces for silver, size, exact color, origin if you know it, and be honest about any significant inclusions. Accuracy builds trust.
So they're cleaned, certified, photographed. Where do people actually sell them? What platforms work best?
You've got options. Online marketplaces like eBay, Etsy, Gemrock auctions are popular for selling individual pieces. Etsy's great for unique, perhaps artisan-cut stones. Like you have more inventory, maybe your own website, or even a dropshipping setup could work, but don't discount in-person sales. Gem shows, trade fairs, great places to connect with serious buyers directly.
And for bigger quantities?
Then you might look at B2B platforms like Alibaba maybe, or establishing direct relationships with jewelers or designers.
Okay, you've chosen your platform. How do you actually price these unique items fairly but effectively?
Pricing comes down to a few core things. Weight, obviously carats or grams, clarity, and the rarity of that specific piece.
The research is key.
Absolutely. You have to research current market rates for similar items, see what things are actually selling for, be realistic. And if you're selling multiple items, think about offering bulk or wholesale pricing, especially if you're targeting businesses.
This whole area is beautiful, but it feels like it also carries some heavy ethical and legal weight. It's not just what you sell, but how it got here.
Exactly. Ethical sourcing is huge. You really need to try and ensure the stones you're dealing with weren't mined under awful conditions, conflict zones or exploitation.
That's a big responsibility.
It is. And then there's transparency about treatments. We mentioned it for buying, but for selling, full disclosure isn't just good practice in many places, it's the law. You have to declare treatments. And if you're selling internationally, you absolutely must know the import-export rules, taxes, customs duties for your target markets. It really makes you think, doesn't it? Are you just trading pretty objects, or are you part of a responsible global chain?
That really puts it in perspective. So for someone looking to build, a long-term successful presence in this market, what's the recipe?
It really boils down to a few core things, I think. First, relationships. Build strong connections with suppliers and buyers you trust. This market runs on reputation.
Makes sense.
Second, keep learning. Get some gemology basics under your belt. It sharpens your eye, helps you evaluate better, gives you confidence. Third, stay updated. Know the market trends, what's in demand, how prices are shifting. Invest in the basic tools, a good digital scale for accurate weight, a loop that's the little magnifier for looking at clarity, maybe a light box for consistent viewing. They're invaluable.
Okay, let's zoom in again, specifically on the digital side, because for a lot of us, buying online is just how we shop now. Huge selection, but maybe more risks.
Definitely both. The selection online is amazing, but yeah, caution is needed. Prioritize platforms that really push for transparency, offer certification options, and have solid buyer protection.
Like where?
Well, eBay can work, but you have to check seller feedback religiously. Look for verified authenticity if they offer it. Read those reviews. Etsy is often good for smaller miners or lapidary artists, people cutting the stones themselves. Look for detailed descriptions, great photos, good reviews there too.
Any specialist sites?
Yes. Gemrockauctions.com is very reputable, specifically for certified gems, auctions, and fixed prices. They vet sellers pretty well. For wholesale, Alibaba or AliExpress can be used, but honestly, the verification needed there is intense. You need to be really careful.
Right.
And then you have curated sites, maybe like sunmoonbay.net, that offer a more hand-picked selection, potentially more vetted.
Okay, that helps narrow down where to look. But before hitting buy on any site, what specific details in a listing should scream, check me carefully? This feels like where you could easily trip up.
Absolutely. Okay. Checklist time. First, again, certification for gems. GIA, IGI, GRS. As I mentioned, pictured. If not, ask. Always ask.
Okay.
Second, the description needs to be detailed. Clear origin statement. Natural emerald from Colombia, for example. Precise weight carats for gems, grams ounces for silver. Dimensions. Specifics on color, cut, clarity, grade, and critically any treatments. Has it been heated? Oiled? It must be stated.
Photos.
Video. Essential. Look for high-quality, zoomed-in photos. Natural light is best. Videos are even better. They show how the stone handles light, its sparkle from different angles.
And the safety nets.
Return policy. Make absolutely sure the seller offers returns if the item isn't as described. And use secure payment, PayPal, credit cards, something with buyer protection built in. That's your backup.
All of this really feeds into understanding value, right? If you know how things are valued, it helps when you're buying and when you're pricing things to sell later.
Exactly.
So let's break that down. How is natural silver typically valued?
Natural silver's value primarily comes from its total weight, usually grams or ounces, and its purity. 0.925 sterling or 0.999 fine silver. The daily market spot price for silver is obviously a huge factor too. But here's the interesting part for natural silver. The form matters. Raw nuggets, those cool wire forms, crystal clusters, they can command a premium over just the metal value because they're unique natural sculptures.
And origin, like we said before.
And origin, yes. Rarity and specific locations can add significant value on top of the weight and purity.
So is there like a rough formula people can use?
For a basic starting point, yeah. You can roughly estimate it as total weight, say in grams, times the purity, like 0.999 times the current spot price per gram. Gives you a baseline.
Okay. And then for natural gemstones, we always hear about the 4 C's. For someone maybe new to gems, can you quickly break down what those are and why they're so important for value?
The 4 C's are really the foundation of gem valuation. They are color, clarity, cut, and carat weight.
Color first.
Color is often king, especially for stones like sapphires, rubies, emeralds. Vivid, rich, evenly spread color that fetches top dollar.
Clarity. That's about flaws, right?
Exactly. Fewer inclusions or blemishes generally means higher value. But interestingly, some inclusions can actually help prove a stone is natural, not synthetic. So perfectly flawless isn't always the goal.
Okay.
Cut is about how well the stone has been shaped and faceted. A good cut maximizes brilliance, sparkle, fire. It brings the stone to life.
And carat weight. Bigger is the better.
Bigger is usually more valuable, yes, but it's not a simple linear scale. Larger stones are much rarer than smaller ones, so the price per carat jumps significantly as the size increases. It's exponential, really.
Exponentially more valuable. Wow. Is that just pure scarcity? Or is it like the incredible unlikelihood of a big, clean crystal forming perfectly in nature?
It's really a mix of both. The bigger a high-quality crystal needs to grow without major flaws, the rarer that event is in nature. Each extra carat in a truly fine, large gem represents this increasingly improbable natural occurrence. It makes it a geological marvel.
So, beyond the 4 C's.
Oh yeah, origin is huge. A Kashmir sapphire, a Colombian emerald. They carry a massive premium because of their legendary status and scarcity.
All right.
Treatment disclosure is critical. An untreated stone is far more valuable than a treated one of similar appearance simply because it's rarer and naturally beautiful. Certification adds trust and makes it easier to resell. And don't forget, market demand. Some gems just trend hotter than others at times.
Can you give us a quick example? Put some numbers on it.
Sure. Let's imagine a really nice 5.00 carat Sri Lankan sapphire.
Yeah.
Vivid, royal blue color, eye clean clarity, absolutely no heat treatment, and it has a GIA certificate.
Oh, that sounds top tier.
It is a stone like that. Depending on the exact nuances in the current market, it could easily retail for, say, $2,000 to maybe over $5,000 per carat.
What, per carat?
Yeah. So that 5-carat stone is a significant investment, and its value is driven by that combo. Size, amazing color, being untreated, the reputable origin, the certificate, it all adds up.
That's incredible context. So wrapping up this online buying part, any final nuggets of wisdom for our listeners?
Okay, final tips. Compare prices across platforms. Don't just buy the first nice thing you see. Ask, questions. A good, trustworthy seller will be happy to answer them transparently.
Keep records.
Absolutely. Keep all receipts, certificates, appraisals. You need them for insurance, and definitely if you ever plan to resell. And maybe most importantly, if you're new, start small. Buy a few smaller things, build your confidence, learn the ropes before you make a huge purchase. It's a journey.
That makes a lot of sense. And to help with all this valuation stuff, I know people sometimes talk about gemstone valuation calculator. Sounds useful.
They can be. These tools usually let you plug in the carat weight, maybe a price per carat estimate you've researched, and critically, the treatment status.
And it figures out a price.
It gives you an estimated total value. Often they have logic built in to adjust the value upwards for untreated stones, recognizing that premium. They're great for getting a quick ballpark figure and seeing how those factors interact.
And it really helps visualize everything we've talked about, doesn't it? Like how carat weight isn't linear, how much difference top color and clarity make,
Exactly.
the impact of cut quality on how it looks, the huge premium for untreated stones, and how origin and certification underpin the trust and the value.
Precisely. It pulls all those factors together into something practical you can use, whether you're buying or selling. It helps quantify what makes that particular stone special. So, what's the bottom line here for you, the listener? Getting involved in the world of natural silver and gemstones, whether buying or selling, can be incredibly rewarding. But success really truly depends on knowledge and integrity.
Right.
Continuously educating yourself, staying curious, and building relationships based on trust with suppliers, with buyers, that's absolutely fundamental for long-term success.
And maybe one last thought to leave you with. It's kind of fascinating how these natural treasures are so much more than just, assets on a spreadsheet. Think about their journey. Formed deep in the earth under immense pressure over maybe millions of years. Each one carries this incredible geological story.
It's true.
And then there are the human stories connected to them, the ethics of sourcing. Our responsibility really to make sure that their journey from the earth to us supports fair practices, not exploitation.
Yeah.
So each piece isn't just valuable in monetary terms, it's like a tiny testament to our planet's incredible artistry, but also maybe to our collective conscience and how we interact with it. We really hope you keep exploring this intricate, beautiful world. Go deeper than just the price tag. Look into its history, its journey, its heart.